we're prepared for the criticism of why aren't you guys inclusive of the LGBTQ plus the rainbow people? Why aren't you inclusive of that? Just do us a fucking favor. Call yourself mutual degeneracy. Just call yourself mutual degeneracy. Just do that. Why not?
Yeah.
Fuck your bullshit. Fuck your swipe-based addictive garbage where you're just taking people's money and you don't care about the couples. You don't care about creating a better culture. You don't care about masculine, feminine dynamics. You don't care about any of that shit. Like if you did, you would incorporate all of the studies in behavioral psychology, evolutionary psychology. Who are we to say you can't do that?
Right.
Who are we to say that that's racism or that's prejudice? No.
Yeah. No,
And honestly, there is not another dating app that even has the balls to even introduce or even talk about that.
Well, no, because they're all woke.
They are all woke.
Yeah, they're all like...
What's up, DJ?
Hey, David.
Been a while.
Yeah, it has. This is episode 7, 8, or 9 of the Hairy Knuckle.
Yeah.
And I'm DJ Potter. This is David. Do you want your last name given?
Nobody would pronounce it or know what the hell it means or anything, so we don't need to get into it.
Yeah.
Aderzada.
Aderzada or Aderzada.
Aderzada. I mean,
I'm kidding. Yeah.
How it's spelled is how it sounds.
Yeah.
If you're mildly intelligent, you can get it. And that's a good litmus test for how intelligent somebody is, whether they can pronounce my last name or not.
Well, iPhone never pronounces it the way it should be.
What doesn't?
My iPhone.
Oh, it doesn't?
When I say call David Aderzada, it goes, Aderzada.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some shitty AI.
I don't even think is AI on our phone already? Probably.
I think so.
Yeah, some level.
They're integrating in everything now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here are our new digs. So we are in a new studio down in Orem, Utah.
Yeah.
This is where our office is as well. And I do like the setup.
Yeah.
We got better equipment for sure.
100%. Much better. The lighting, I don't look like some a dark dude, even though I am, a tint darker than you.
But you're not,
or two.
You don't look 5 shades darker than you actually are.
Yeah, 50 shades darker.
It doesn't hurt that the background is almost black.
What are you trying to... No, we're excited about this new space. I think it's great. And got a cool editing guy, Oscar. He's going to be helping out with a lot of the editing of the video and sound quality and things like that. So it's not going to be from my iPhone in my living room anymore.
Right.
With you and I trying to figure things out.
I mean, that was fun. But
this is
still fun, but this is a step up from there.
It is. For sure. It's the evolution of our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's been a while since we have done this. We just decided we were going to do it because we haven't done it in a long time. We don't really have any other topics to discuss other than Orra. A lot of it has happened with Orra since we last spoke, and a lot has not happened with Orra since we last spoke.
Right.
And do you want to give the updates since it's more of your purview?
Yeah, I think that so we finished development for beta. Do we want to call it beta? Can we? We can call it beta.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah,
I'd say it's a little further than beta, first generation.
Mm-hmm.
We finished development, and the app review process in both App Store and Google Play has been a little bit more complicated than we expected, especially for our category.
Yeah,
because it's very saturated. And so it's required meetings and a lot more documentation and customer service support emails back and forth. But the light, we see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And we're almost there. And so in the next week or two, max, fingers crossed, knock on wood. It's going to be out for all of you to download, to give us feedback, to give us high fives and support, or give us criticism. We welcome all of it. It is a beta version. We are working on integrating a lot more features already. We're in the process, especially in fleshing out the AI.
Correct.
Our AI is a baby. It's a nascent AI. And we're working on developing that. So it's a more robust AI that users can both interact with, and it having more of a role in the back end of the matching process.
I want to back up a little bit about entrepreneurship and how we envision this going.
Yeah.
And all the roadblocks that we've encountered along the way. I mean, we thought we would have this running at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And here we are in August.
Which is both, I guess you could look at it in that light and in a negative light because it's not out as soon. But I think we learned a tremendous amount about the process, about some of the pitfalls of developing an app like this, a novel app like this.
Yeah,
right?
it's unlike any other dating app or matchmaking app on the market.
Yeah.
And I also want to touch on that with regards to Apple, because they lumped us in with all the other swipe-based apps.
Yeah.
And so they're not accepting new apps. And we're like, wait a second, we've had calls with them.
Yeah.
And that's been an education for not only us, but I think also the team that heads up that realm of dating apps on the App Store.
Yeah. Yeah. They wanted a lot of proof on why your dating app is so much different than every other dating app in our store. Like,
all the others are
that's
alike.
the whole fucking point of our app. Yeah. We told them, look at the top 50 apps on the App Store, and every single one of them is going to be swipe based. It's going to be image based. There's one or two that digress, but the concept behind it's the same.
Yeah.
It's still swipe based.
They all use similar algorithms as well.
Yeah.
Or it truly does stand out as a truly unique and contrarian app than what's on the market. And I think they're wrapping that around their team and their brains, trying to figure out, okay, yeah.
But I do think a lot of innovation, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but they say a lot of innovation happens simultaneously. So when somebody conjures up a new product or a new invention, somebody else around that time period is also thinking about that. They say it happens simultaneously. And a lot of the features we came to independently without any previous context or any precursors from other apps, right?
Yeah.
And one of the features that we found out another app actually has is the feature of not showing photos first. Show photos come after there's some sort of engagement.
Right.
Which you and we came up with that concept entirely independently.
Correct.
We'd never heard of this app. But that's the central focus of their app, where for us, it's a minor feature.
Yeah, that is not the main feature of our app.
No.
By no means.
But it goes to show that we were definitely on the right track, right?
Yeah.
And that we implemented that feature, which is really cool to know that, that feature is a central focus of another app, which is still swipe based.
Yeah.
But they conjured up and made the primary focus the fact that, we'll show photos later, which in our app, we do have that feature. But it's more of, it plays a minor role.
Yeah. And we kind of talked offline, not in this podcast, but it seems to me when you're doing something novel and it's new to the market, you encounter new hurdles that you have to go through. And I think this is one for Orra, obviously one for, the things I'm going through with Sawtooth. We won't talk about that in detail here, but definitely have hurdles that I've encountered with that.
Yeah.
And you're going to find the same with Helixer as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it just adds more time and you're like,
right.
It's frustrating. I mean, it's just, I think that's all entrepreneurship is. If you're doing something truly novel, out of the norm,
Yeah.
it's contrarian to what everything else in the market. You're going to run into a hurdle, either educating the customer or developing the product in general, or
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
You know?
But like we said early on, I think in episode 1, we talked about how everything you do in entrepreneurship takes a lot longer than what you expected.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 times
5 times longer.
Especially when you're doing something novel.
Yeah.
And we definitely experienced that. It's been a learning process. And but the one thing that we're confident of is that the quality of the app that we've developed far surpasses a lot of the other apps.
Oh yeah, for
with
sure.
regard to quality, our attention to detail,
Yeah.
our debugging process, our testing process, all of that has been very extensive. So it's, I hopefully we don't get a lot of feedback where people have bugs or they have issues with actually navigating the app, because we put a lot of thought and time into ensuring that it's a quality product.
Right.
So,
well, and also increasing the speed and that sort of thing in the
Yeah.
way the app operates, because we don't want a lot of lag time.
right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so that,
Yeah. It's,
I think it's been an education for the development team as well.
yeah.
That you're heading that.
Yeah. I mean, with them, it's like I said, holding their hand the entire time. It's not,
It's babysitting.
I think one of the biggest things, and this is something that, if you're thinking about developing an app, you're really going to pay for creativity, direction, and project management.
Yeah.
That is a massive part of the app. Initial wireframing as well. So if you can find a development team that gives you a good quote and includes those aspects, that's massive. Because if you don't have those aspects, you're going to be doing a lot of that, and it's going to be taking a significant amount of your time. And especially if that development team is foreign in India or Ukraine, which typically they are, it's going to be both a language barrier, communication issue, and just significant time sink, because every single detail needs to be spelled out with the fucking Crayola marker, Crayola crayon, and you need to draw graphs and arrows and then a smiley face to make them feel better at the end of the conversation. So that's going to be one of those types of things.
Right. So you think a couple of weeks from now we'll have another response?
I think we'll have a response from App Store in a week, and then Google Play in about a week and a half.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
We're 3 days into our testing with Google,
which was 14, but something happened.
Right.
They have this new thing. We don't want to bore with you guys the details, but they have these new requirements about how long you have to do closed testing and then open testing and then production testing. And we did closed testing for 2 weeks. For some reason, they didn't record it. And now we have to do the closed testing again.
Right.
And we're only 3 days in. So yeah, about a week and a half.
And then after that, then we go through meta approvals so that we can start advertising.
Yeah.
And we're going to make Orem our playground for that.
Yeah.
Initially. And
Right.
then it'll be rolled out everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
the first version of everything is a little bit rough. Ours is fairly better than a lot of those first versions of other apps. Even looking at Tinder when it first came out, looked like garbage, like somebody just created it on Microsoft Paint. And ours is a little bit, or is much better quality. But, as we really flesh this app out, the features are going to become more natural.
Right.
They're going to become more entertaining, more engaging. So that's just in due time. But I think we're working at warp speed on definitely improving the app and bringing that second version, V2, out already. But the state of dating apps is pretty similar still. It's the same, right? There's little. I mean, we keep up on the articles and we keep up on the news in the dating world, in the dating tech world. And aside from companies like Talkify, right?
Yeah.
Which we're privy to in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I think, they're all pretty much still doing the same thing, and their stocks are bombing like they should, and people are still dissatisfied. And dating culture is still looked at as toxic, and there's still masculine, feminine aggression, and the dynamics are out of balance. And guess what? It's all fucking intentional. That's the worst part. And that's the saddest part. And that's the most frightening part.
Instead of actually caring about bringing people together.
Yeah.
Men and women together.
But again, we've talked about this a few times, that it's a spiritual battle. And this is why DJ and I are involved in this app. This is why we dedicated our time and resources to this app, is because we realized that this was a cultural issue. This was a spiritual issue. This was something where the powers that be, for whatever reason, don't want long-lasting, compatible relationships between men and women.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into the details of why. We have our own opinions on why, but we're pretty confident at this point, doing the amount of research that we've done.
Oh, yeah.
Into their algorithms, into their matching process. You have billion-dollar companies that have some of the best data analysts in the world that can't figure out why they've created these systems that are degenerate and focused on one-night stands and not compatible, or
not matching people up
incompatibility.
with their value systems.
Yeah.
For a long-term relationship. We're not into short-term relationships.
Yeah.
We're not, if we've said this before, if you are into one-night stands, all the other apps will be your choice.
Please.
Yeah.
Go elsewhere.
Go
elsewhere.
You do not want to be a part of this.
There's so many apps for you.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many apps. If that's what you're looking for, there's so many apps for you. They're not going to work for you, actually.
Yeah.
Even if you want to do that.
Yeah. Well, they're all geared to keep you on the app and paying as much as possible for as long as possible.
Yeah, there's that. But yeah, definitely.
You're not. I mean, we did that when we got our first notification from Apple. I went back and looked at all the dating apps that were on the Apple Store, and it was they're all degenerate apps. Like literally, if you go and do the search right now,
Yeah.
and you'll look at it, and your eyes will be like, "The hell is this?" These are garbage apps.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think we're prepared, DJ. I think we're prepared for the criticism, and I know it's coming.
Oh, I don't
because
care.
of the state of the world right now and of culture.
Yeah.
We're prepared for the criticism of, why aren't you guys inclusive of the LGBTQ plus I'm not sure what the other letters and verbs are. The rainbow people. Why aren't you inclusive of that? And, just by design, the way, judging by who we're competing against, what our app is a response to, we are naturally going to hang center right.
Yeah. I mean,
by design, because everything else is so far left.
Yeah.
It's so far left. Even Christian Mingle and stuff is so far left if you think about it. The mechanism.
Mutual.
Yeah.
A local app.
They're still far left.
Yeah.
They're using the same mechanisms for matching.
Yeah.
It's still swipe based. It's still based on objectivity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Everybody believes in God and Jesus. That's a good one. That's how you differentiate yourself. I mean, what that's your differentiating factor.
I mean, I was reading some posts on, I think it was on Facebook about Mutual, and there's like groups of people in there that have learned how to take advantage of LDS girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
By getting onto the Mutual app. And I'm like, and I think a lot of young women or women on Mutual are probably smarter than that. But it was just like, there's like this entire degenerate thing going on. And our app is
just do us a fucking favor. Call yourself Mutual Degeneracy. Just call yourself Mutual Degeneracy. Just do that. Why not?
Yeah.
Just be honest.
Yeah. I mean, that I don't want to like attack Mutual by any means, but it's just.
Of course we do.
Well, I mean, like.
Fuck them. Fuck. You know what? Fuck all of you swipe-based apps.
Well, I agree.
That entire culture.
I agree with that.
No, I'm not. No, seriously. Fuck you. Fuck your bullshit. Fuck your swipe-based addictive garbage where you're just taking people's money and you don't care about the couples. You don't care about creating a better culture. You don't care about masculine, feminine dynamics. You don't care about any of that shit. Like if you did, you would incorporate all of the studies in behavioral psychology, evolutionary psychology, divorce rates, statistics, all of that, and you would incorporate that into your algorithm. And you would focus on not keeping people on your app, but actually finding very, very highly compatible people to start a chat. And that's where they waste their time, not swiping through your garbage app. How about that? Yeah, so fuck you. Fuck every single one of you.
Well, and that's the other reason why we would never be an LGBT app, because we don't have evolutionary psychology and studies done on that at all. And honestly,
no, we don't have the stats.
There's plenty of other apps that can handle that,
and
but they won't have.
A lot of it's degeneracy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
it is. Is it not?
I agree.
I think the world's tired of it. I think we're all tired of it.
I believe there's an entire. I feel how in modern culture there's a movement back to traditional values.
Yeah.
And I feel like you could feel it in the air. It's almost palpable. Like people are done with it. They know that these swipe-based apps are garbage and they want to have something wholesome.
Right.
Orra is a wholesome app. It's like having your grandmother or grandfather doing the matching for you based off of your long-term interest, not your short-term interest.
It's like the closest person to you, whether it's your friend, whether it's your mom, whether it's your neighbor that you grew up with, like that person being like, hey, DJ, I have the perfect girl for you.
Yeah.
Right. That person who knows you inside and out. That's what we want to be. And that's what we're trying to be. And that's what we're going to be.
That's what
the AI is going to be. And our AI is objective. It's not a woke AI.
No.
Meaning, and again, this is I don't know why this is controversial. If you're somebody that knows what you want, for the most part, there are some metrics that we found that people say they want, but they don't actually want. An example of that is height in women, right?
Yeah. It keeps coming back to
the 6 foot and over is a disqualifying metric. It's a disqualifying factor, right? They use that to disqualify all of the matches they're getting because they're overburdened with a ton of matches.
Yeah.
Whereas they couldn't tell the difference between 5'10", 5'11", and 6 foot. You can line them up like that. Girls will not be able to tell the difference.
They could never tell.
But there are other disqualifying factors where people do know what they want. For example, if you are an ardent Christian, you're going to want to find, or let's say you have a want to find another person who believes in your faith. Or if you're a Catholic, or if you're a Hindu, or let's say you're an African-American male and you want to start a family with another African-American woman. Who are we to say you can't do that?
Right.
Who are we to say that that's racism or that's prejudice? No, the AI is your dating consultant.
Your personal grandmother or grandfather.
Yeah, it is
well
completely
connected.
Objective. So if that's what you want, that's what you're going to get. And it is not racist. It's not insensitive. We're not going to force anything down anybody's throat if they don't want that. So if that's what you want, the AI will detect that you want that. And those are the type of matches that you're going to get.
Yeah.
So
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
and honestly, there is not another dating app that even has the balls to even introduce or even talk about that feature.
Well, no, because they're all woke.
They are all woke.
Yeah, they're like
owned by two companies.
Yeah.
Should we name them? 96
Match Group and Meet Group.
Match Group and Bumble Inc.
Well, I thought Meet.
No, it's Match Group.
Yeah,
Bumble
Inc. Yeah.
Bumble Inc. own 96% of the market. 96%. So if they have a philosophy on dating, and they have an agenda, whether that's a political, social agenda, that's going to shine through in their apps. And I think 2024, people are awakening to the fact that they're starting to realize and catch on these sorts of subtle cues that we don't all, these subconscious cues, woke cues that, we all didn't catch on before. I think they're starting to become much more apparent to people. And people, not everybody wants that. If you do want it, well, you have 1,000 apps to choose from.
Right.
If you don't, you know where to go.
Right. We are not like any other app. No way.
Not philosophically, not functionally, not culturally.
You could even say moralistically.
Yeah, not ethically, nothing. And no, we are completely unlike all the other apps.
Yeah.
And if this is not what you're looking for, then you have a million other choices, and you're going to get the same thing over and over and over. Whether it's threesome app or farmer's daughter app or
I was
people that are
surprised
into
at how many
dogs.
threesome apps were on the
What?
App Store. They were like,
Oh my God.
the swinger apps. I'm like, Jesus
Disgusting.
Christ.
Yeah.
You're just going through that.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, I didn't even know this was
Yeah.
here. What the hell is this bullshit?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Polyamory swap.
And I started thinking about my sons, and I'm like, because I have 3 sons, and I was like, how do I filter this shit out for my kids that they all have iPhones? I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's garbage. It's garbage.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that before. That polyamory is a really strange way to spell whore. I mean, it really is. Like, if you think about it, it's like, what? Why would you spell it that way? Really, why would you spell it that way, bro? Why would you spell polyamory that way when we all know what you are?
And apparently it's like a thing that's
I remember speaking with
common.
One of our colleagues. I spoke to her at the gym, and she's an LDS woman who's married with 2 kids. And we were speaking about the beautiful girl, and we were speaking about the state of dating culture. And I brought up polyamory, and she's like, "Oh, David, everybody's into that right now." I'm looking at her like, "What do you mean?" It's like, everybody's into that. Everybody's doing it right now. Everybody's doing it right now? What the hell does that even mean? Like, that's our culture? This is Utah. This is Salt Lake City. What the hell's going on in New York City and San Francisco?
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about it. This is little old Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
We have a temple over there.
We have more than one in the valley.
I thought God's looking over our city. I don't know what the hell is going on in those bigger, much more liberal cities.
I mean,
no, it's.
I think it's like the kind of the fall of modern American culture. I think they've lost, a lot of Americans have lost their direction in their value system. And it's because, I think a lot of it's because of social media.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's like the new trendy thing to do. And I'm like, oh, it'll help our marriage. I'm like, how the hell is having sex with a third person going to help your marriage? It's going to accelerate the fall of your marriage.
And a lot of therapy right now is woke.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh, it is.
So we're going to get therapy, and we're going to invite some, and we're going to have guests, and we're going to talk. Let's have those conversations. But a lot of them, it's healthy. That's just a healthy communication. It's good to have those types of boundaries and open communication. And it's going to be that kind of talk. And I think we've just sort of degenerated into this kind of culture where things like that are just normal. They're every day. And that's scary. Yeah. What the hell have we come to?
It's weird.
But the other thing I want to talk about is when we talk about a dating app, when I tell people I'm starting a company, it's a dating app. It's an AI-powered dating app. A lot of people, when they hear dating app, they just think like, oh, it's just, it's fun. It's just a dating app, right? But I think the thing that we need to drive home is 65% of singles are on dating apps.
Yeah.
And what do you do when you're on a dating app? What does that person's want? It's to find somebody else that they're compatible with so they can be in a long-term relationship. I mean, for the most part, that's the way we like to think it is. Yeah, for the most part.
But there's a certain subset of that population that they're all about hooking up.
I think that's orchestrated. I think by design, when people are on those apps, that's what they result to. But I think most people, what they're looking for is somebody that they relate to, somebody that they're compatible with, somebody that has a similar value system as them, and for them to come together and to be in a long-term relationship. And hopefully, the point of humanity is you got to have children, right? So when you say dating and you say online dating, it's so significant. It's such a big part of our culture, our society, that the family in itself, the nuclear family, think about it. What is it the cornerstone of? It's the cornerstone of communities. It's the cornerstone of religion, of faith. It's the cornerstone of social
the entire country.
Everything
boils down to the family.
It boils down to the family. So when you say dating apps, and there's 2 companies that control 96% of the market, and that company is hyper focused in you not finding somebody that you're compatible with by creating this degenerate culture. That's frightening.
I don't
It's
like
more than just dating.
I don't like to refer to us as a dating app. I think we need to like come up with a better message than that, like a long-term mating strategy. You know what I mean? Or long-term matchmaking service. Or
I mean, dating app is that and see why don't you want to use the term dating app? Why? Does
Because
it leave
it's
a bad taste in your mouth?
Yeah, it does.
That's the thing. That's the culture they've created.
I know. Like Tinder, we were talking about Tinder earlier, but like according to Stanford Medicine, 65% of all people on Tinder are already in a fucking relationship. I'm like,
That's sick.
That's like, oh, okay, cool. Like,
yeah. That's sick.
I mean, that's total
It's
degeneracy right there. Like that is the shit.
It's essentially it's Ashley Madison 2.0, right? That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, dating should have never gone that direction.
No,
it should have never gone that direction, but it did.
Yeah.
And it's amazing and it's coincidental that the height of online dating was during the pandemic when people were already stuck in their homes.
Oh yeah.
And really the only form of entertainment and bonding that they had access to, because they didn't have physical interaction where they could meet people in real life organically, they had through dating apps, that everybody was on them. And you can trace their stock. We were just looking at it. And the height of it was 2020 and everything just plummeted.
Was it Bumble that was at $70 a share?
Yeah.
And it dropped down to $8 now?
Yeah. And Match Group was 165. It's down to like
30? Or is it
like 60 or something? Maybe even less. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we can maybe pull it up and we'll show the different trajectories of the onslaught of the market against dating apps. But it's like, this is the culture you guys created. So when you say dating apps, it's like, that's not something you say over dinner, son. We don't talk about dating apps. You know, that's a degenerate thing. We're all eating. Come on, son.
Oh, man.
We don't talk about dating apps. You might as well start talking about pornography with your dad, because they're very similar.
Oh, they use.
Oh, yeah, they're very similar.
We want to bring in somebody to discuss that subject as well, and the similarities between degenerate swipe-based dating apps and the use of pornography.
Yeah, there are a lot of similar mechanisms in play, and we're going to bring an expert here soon. We're going to have that discussion on what those similarities are, and they're frighteningly similar, unfortunately. So it's all by design. It's all subtlety. It's all ingrained in our subconscious. And the people, the power it be, what do you think? Power it be? They are well aware of this and they're conscious of it. And that's the reason we're doing this.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was my rant.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, and people are starting to notice us before the app is even launched.
Yeah.
You know, and that's both great and terrifying at the same time, because people know what we're about.
Yeah.
They know that the content of our heart and what we want to bring to people is contrary to what their motives are. And it's really been interesting to watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and we're prepared for it, DJ.
Yeah.
We're not.
We're ready for war.
That's what it's going to feel like.
Yeah.
It's not going to feel like just getting up and going to work.
There's something quite motivating about that, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
and we've already had a few
right thing for the right reason.
Yeah. We've already had a few
at the right time.
A few swipes taken at us from very high profile individuals. We're not going to get into it, but
we won't get into it.
Some shots have been fired, and we have our swords drawn, and we're ready to go into battle. I mean, this is a spiritual battle, and I can't say it. I'm going to say it in every episode. It's a spiritual battle. I feel strongly about that. And
it's fun. This is actually fun to actually go up against that.
Yeah. It's because when you feel like you're on the road, when you're on the side of righteousness, it really does feel good. Right. And I really feel that way, as corny as that sounds. When you're on the side of
corny at all, I think it's true.
When you're on the side of
when
good,
you're doing the right thing for the right reason.
Absolutely.
And you know you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you can see how bad the others are. I mean, this is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't get me wrong, DJ and I in our past and current state have been pieces of shit. So we're not these better than thou.
Yourself, David.
Yeah. Our shit stinks, and
who says I'm beyond that?
Yeah. We've grown and we've learned and we've fucked up just like anybody else. But we've come to terms with who we are as people and how we want to help people. And we want that to be exemplified through the businesses that we start. And I think Orra is a representation of that. It's who we are as people, who we've become.
Right.
Not who we were, who we've become. So,
and who we also want to be
absolutely.
Also in the future as well.
And you can't blame people.
To improve.
Yeah. You can't blame people. Like, you can't blame men and women, these individuals that are caught up in this toxic culture and that are simply acting it out the way that, the people that designed it expect them to be acted out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't blame them for that. They're simply doing what the system has organized for them to do. And so you need to look at the organizers, the architects of the system, not the people that are playing, Look at the director, not the people that are acting it out.
I mean, you don't even have to look hard.
No, you don't.
You just have to Google it real quick, and you'll find out. Holy shit! Like Match Group owns how many apps?
A lot.
Oh shit! I don't remember the number.
And then a lot of those CEOs, investors are in what industry?
The porn industry.
Yeah,
it's so fucking crazy.
Crazy.
It is nuts.
Isn't that
like
sick?
It's disgusting.
It's like same actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like your bishop is your bishop and your drug dealer
at the same time. Your pastor's your drug dealer, preaching you at the pew, and then selling you coke on
the side. Here you go, Sonny boy. God can't see under here. Let me take a sniff of this. Good God, Pastor Robin. I never knew you had that side to you. Jesus. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
That's what it feels like. So it's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll show you love, and then we'll give you smut at the same time. So you're confused between the two.
Yeah.
Right? So
you don't know what is right, or you're absolutely confused at your direction in life and the apps that
or your wrists are so tired by the end of the day that you don't have the willpower to go out and actually meet people in real life.
Right.
You're just drained of your solar energy, of your masculine energy. So why would you need to actually pursue the feminine? The feminine is something that's wild. It's something that's free. It's something that requires the masculine sort of directing it. And how do you do that if you're there with your wrists are just, you got rug burns on your, so I mean, that's the state of today's world.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as vulgar as that sounds, hopefully your kids are not watching.
Oh, this isn't made for children.
Mm-mm.
You know that.
This is made for shitty adults.
I think it's been close to an hour.
No, it hasn't. Has it?
Yeah,
We've been
almost
talking
6.
shit for an hour.
We've been talking shit for it's probably like 45 minutes, but
yeah. You want to wrap it up? Is there any other ideas you want to talk about?
Do you want to talk about your other business, or do you just?
I think let's stay focused.
Yeah.
I'm good with the conversation we've had so far. I think we're good.
I think it's great.
Yeah. Is there any other thoughts you want to bring out to the open?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm also tired today, but I'm glad we did this.
Okay.
I feel good that we did this.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
anyway, thanks for watching, listening.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
We will
tune in next time.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Bye.